the only time I ever get to actually call a meeting. This is the reorganization meeting for July 7th. It's 6:47, and all board members are present. RGOEA is virtual at this point in time, and we're all here. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Section 1.3 is the oath of office of newly elected Board of Education members and returning Board of Education members. Jessica, would you please do the honors?
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education trustee.
Well, I can't really
So
sign
we
it.
leave that date,
Yeah.
you put that in when you file it?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So, do we get that
All right, good.
commentary?
Would you like us to sign now?
Yes, please sign up. Okay, moving on to section 1.4, the election of Board of Education officers, the board president. Do I have a nomination for board president?
I'd like to nominate Rachel Gilder.
All right, any seconds?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and now at this point, I pass it over.
All right, I hope we never will touch that. With that, we move to 1.5, the election of board officer vice president. Would anyone like to nominate vice president? I would like to nominate vice president Rob Sampson. And would anyone like to second? Or
second.
nominate someone else? Just because you're supposed to.
I forgot to.
Yeah, it's okay. Anyone seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Two.
I will not sign mine as well. July 7th. Moving on, we have this year two student ex officio board members. This feels weird to welcome you after your sister's here, but welcome to both of you. And thank you for being here in this beautiful evening. And just like to welcome Elliot Chismark, Michaela Michaels, and if I ever call you Talia, please forgive me in advance. Thank you for your service. Thank you for stepping forward and being part of this organization in this district in this way. Excellent. All right. With that, we have an agenda that is relatively straightforward and could possibly be done entirely as a consent agenda. Does anyone want to discuss, comment on, or note anything on items 1.7 through 1.39?
Don't we also have to vote on the student board members?
Is it a
Do
resolution?
they have to be, it appears as though it is.
Approval.
Yeah,
say
I guess we do
approval,
vote. Okay, good call. Would anyone like to move it? Matt?
I'll move it.
Anyone like to second?
I'll second it.
Sorry, guys. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, welcome.
Now you're official.
Thank you. I just figured it was fait accompli. Welcome, officially. Thanks, Matt. And now, anything about the next 32 items? Just that one?
Just that one.
Okay, so school credit cards and cell phones and tax collectors and petty cash funds and school nurses and board calendar dates. We have our board calendar dates are set up right now, but 1.33, if there are changes to be made, we will be reaching out and those will be changed on the website, so school calendar. So with that, consent agenda perhaps, for items 1.7 all the way down through 1.39. Would anyone like to move 32 items in one?
I'll move it.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Jess, that's for your notes. With that, we have a full board meeting that doesn't really technically start until 7 p.m.
until 7 PM? I thought we usually roll right in, but
We
We
usually
typically roll right in.
roll right in?
Yeah.
All right, that feels a little bit like clueless.
yeah,
Roll,
9 degrees.
sorry.
maybe there's a way to post it here.
Yeah.
Proceeding, or, I don't know,
Okay.
separate times.
We can move to the regular board meeting. Jess, that's okay? All right. We just did a pledge of allegiance. And the roll call of all people in attendance, 2 student board members. RG is appearing remotely from location in Charleston, West Virginia. Charleston, West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Bless your heart. Have some good sweet tea. For the good of the order, I just want to say that the graduation ceremonies and the bagpipers were phenomenal.
It was very
And
nice.
the speeches were beautiful and thoughtful and really well presented. The students always run the show and they did it perfectly. So it was
Good.
really well done. Congrats to all the seniors who graduated and their families, including you, RG.
Me too.
Thanks, and thanks to, again, Ms. Heidi and Mr. Lawrence for all they did to put that together, along with the members of the senior class, or the graduated class, rising seniors that you are. Good luck. But anything else?
I'm sure Frank will touch on it soon, but it's awesome driving past the elementary school a few times
Yeah.
a day, seeing the ground get torn up out there and new drainage going in.
Backhoes.
And yeah, backhoes, there's a whole bunch of dumpsters out there. Like, I can only imagine what's starting to go on inside the building maybe. And
I'll fill you up.
yeah, but that's super neat, like seeing real
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah.
And as much as we had massive visual progress out there, like, I don't often drive down Martin Road, so it's like, you know, I'm always going past that place, and it's, yeah, seeing it really come to
That's
life.
understandable.
Feels good, yeah.
Yeah, and also thanks to the staff, the custodial staff that have done so much to make the space better already for getting it ready for next fall and just bringing it. With that, we have item 2.1, the opportunity for the public to be heard. Would any member of the public like to come to the podium? Then we can roll into the student board member report, just being your first one. I don't know if you have opportunity to do anything. My guess is no, but
That's
Frank.
fine.
Mr. McCree, sorry. Mr. McCree, also known as Frank by us sometimes, will
I'll meet
likely
with
be
them
working
and we'll
with
go
you
through
prior
it.
to board
Yep.
meetings.
We just like to hear what's going on with the
Yeah.
students, like
Yeah.
activities, things like that.
And they have some actually really strong ideas of helping get student voice and student, so I'm excited to see what they bring to the table as well, because both of them have great ideas, and I think together they're gonna be a powerhouse to be able to add to the board.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Frank, do you have anything for us today?
I have a lot, so let's get started. So first and foremost, thank you to everybody who made this a successful school year. You, the Board of Education, for all your support that you gave. It's not an easy job, and you get paid extremely well for all the work that you do, so I do appreciate that. But I know, me personally, I get to see all the work that goes behind everything that you do and the thoughtful decisions. And we only get successful years because of all the partnership that everybody has in the district. So first and foremost, I want to thank you as board members for all you did this year. It was an amazing graduation from the 5th grade moving up, from the 8th grade moving up and forward. There's a lot of great celebrations occurring, and that could not be accounted for from the students, the parents, and all the staff that really do make it happen. So the success of the school is hundreds of people that make it work. We are moving very, very quickly this summer already. We have our summer school starting for our special education students, our extended school year. Everything that is happening during the summer that typically happens between 2 buildings is happening here. So hats off to our custodial staff that are already pulling apart rooms, working around the schedule. We have summer tutoring, we have summer school for special education students. We have our elementary school offices are going to be here, our special education office is now here. So they did all that movement, and today really we were functioning. So very, very positive work happening. Transportation facility. As you can see, it looks amazing. We are getting very, very close to being able to get the board a tour. The sod is down. So, and they've been out watering it twice or 3 times a day to make sure that we have all the sod, all the plantings. We are putting down from the dirt, they had the rock hound out today.
Sure.
So we are gonna be putting down spray seed, so we can close out our SWIP. So that will be the next step. We already get plumbers and everybody else moving out of there. Here is the biggest issue, we don't have power.
National Grid.
Yeah, so National Grid
Still.
has told us that, we've been working with them for the past 3 weeks, and then there was the power, the storms, and everything else that occurred, so that's put us behind schedule. We are supposed to have the vac truck here to be able to start posting the poles on July 9th. We're hoping that happens. It's going to take a week or 2 for the power to happen. After the power happens, then we get gas, so we're really dependent on them. We do have the casework going in right now in the building. I took Lisa down today to see the casework. We have all of the tiles going in, so really all the finishing touches are really happening. It's just that power. As soon as we get power in there, everything's gonna be done. The lifts for the truck, for the bus, they got installed, the new lifts. It really is almost complete. So it's fantastic, it's there, but we really do need National Grid to be able to finalize and finish what's going to be done. If we don't have that done in a timely manner, we can't finish out what has to be done inside the building, we cannot get a CFO, and we cannot move in, which will hold back the elementary school.
Oh, okay.
Let's
So
go National
that's my
Grid.
question.
So we really are dependent on National
Can
Grid.
we define timely manner?
The timely manner, we need to get them here on July 9th, and they need to be scheduled to continue to put the pole in within the next week or 2.
So that's Wednesday.
Yes, if we do not get them in this week, and then it goes out next week, every week that we wait is another week behind schedule.
That's not good for
It
anything.
is not good for the transportation facility, no.
And then it's not good for the elementary school either.
It will be fine for the elementary school, so let me switch to the elementary school and explain why that will be fine. Because we put in contingency plans and work very hard to schedule appropriately. Elementary school, as Rob said, we are breaking ground. They started breaking ground immediately on the trenches on the far end. They are taking down, we made sure the power was off of the shack that was down there today, and pretty soon you'll be seeing that shack being demolished. It's gonna be gone. Amazing, no more shack. And then they're gonna put in a new trench. There was an issue where the trench was supposed to go through the elementary school playground, and we would have to move a piece of the playground that was put in.
No, thank you.
Which piece, out of curiosity?
It was the,
I'm sorry. I was thinking zip
it was a
line.
piece of the zip line. That's getting rerouted. We have a wonderful.
What we're enjoying, too.
Yeah, they're right. So it's getting rerouted, so it's all set. We're fine. So the trench is going in. After the trench work is done, the site work, the site contractors are spinning around to the side of the building, and they're gonna start doing the stream bed. So a lot of that work is gonna be done, because that's when we went through DEC, we've already got everything, so that reinforcement of that stream bed's gonna be reoccurring soon.
That's
So
wonderful.
we really are making a lot of progress on the outside, as you can see. We also had the bid today, this is secondary, so we had the bid to award for the facility, the metal transportation facility. So those bids went in, they came in at a good budget price, we're gonna be able to move forward with that transportation component as well. So that was something that we weren't sure of, now we're able to still do that as part of the site work. So that's all getting done. Going inside the building, this is why I said it really doesn't matter, it won't impact the opening of the elementary school as of yet. Because we're working on the usable spaces of the building. So 3rd floor, 2nd floor, where we were gonna have to have staff and students in when the building comes in, those are the priority areas. The area that we're closing off, from the basement floor to the transportation facility, which will become the cafeteria, that does not need to be done right away, because we're gonna be closing that off. If we had to add a few more days, it'll be unfortunate, but it's not gonna impact the opening of school. The opening of school is that 2nd floor and 3rd floor. They've already started doing all the abatement in the crawl spaces. So that crawl space had to be abated. They're abating that now from asbestos abatement.
But it was less
Kudos
than
to
we
the teachers.
anticipated, right?
Well, the asbestos abatement is less than we anticipated for the 3rd floor and 2nd floor, because
Oh, good.
it's already been abated once before, so it's been less than was expected, and we'll be able to probably end up getting credits for it. But the crawl space was always expected, since it's never been abated down there, so that still is an area that has to be done. So underneath the elementary school, there's all those little areas where the pipes go in, the crawl spaces, things you would not believe it ever existed. I was surprised that it looked like dungeons. It was the scariest thing in the world. Unfortunately, we have to get down there and do work, and in order to do work, we have to abate that whole area. And if there's sand down there, all the sand, because the particulates fall from there and go into the sand, all the sand has to be abated as well. So that's a lot of work.
Kudos to the teachers and staff who got everything moved out. in a
Very
timely
quickly, in a
fashion.
timely
It's
fashion,
really well
everything
done.
moved out,
That's a
so-
hard, stressful.
Yep.
So, are we still actively maintaining buses in that old bus garage for
You're
the
asking
time
great
being? Or are
questions.
we kind of taking a pause? or
So
like,
you
what's
are
the-
asking, right, no, we have to actively
Yeah.
maintain buses, and we have Department of Transportation coming in for DOT inspections, scheduled in the next 2 weeks, by the way. So what we have done, is we've created one bay open and left it down there with the ability for us to be able to do all the work. So we have a bay where the construction is allowed us to go in and out, and our people are working in that one specific bay right now until they're able to move forward. So transportation's still functioning, still working, still being able to do that. As they transition up here, they still have a working bay to work on the buses for DOT inspections. We're just, and they're doing kind of two jobs at once. The building projects, though, really are happening inside the building. Basement abatement, and then second and third floor. The third floor ceilings are already all been removed.
Wow.
And, you know, the areas that have to be removed, and they're already prepping. So 5 days in, and they're really already moving very, very quickly to get things done and accomplished. I did not go down today, but I got an update of the work that was being done. So,
What are they using to reinforce the stream beds going back to concrete?
so that has been engineered by the architects. It's stone, it's very
Riprap.
specific.
Is it
that-
riprap?
Riprap.
It is riprap?
Yeah, see, I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
So the engineers, architects went
Is that
through
like-
it.
like
The
what they did
EDC has
before?
been heavily involved. We had to have multiple approvals prior
Yeah.
to any of this
Better.
going through.
That's a whipple rock.
And so it's a stream
Stuff's
bed, the
expensive.
one stream bed that's getting done. So where it currently is, when I
Mm-hmm.
got finished,
Stream bed or stream bank?
stream bank. It's-
Yes.
I am not the engineer.
The
for-
sides,
Yeah,
not the
this-
bottom.
Thank you,
Yeah.
the sides. There we go. The side area, again, educator,
Mm-hmm.
not stream. That area
Mr.
from
Leone's
The
been
bridge?
the covered bridge to the other bridge, that's the area that's getting reinforced.
Okay.
Ooh, that's area with all
Oh,
the poison
so
ivy.
between the two bridges? Yeah.
Between the two
Does that mean no
bridges.
more
That's like
poison
a
ivy?
movie.
That is so
And that's the one that's really falling
There's
apart.
so
if you-
much poison ivy.
If you notice the sidewalk that's starting to like
Yeah.
get really close to
Is
the
it
buildings.
side?
Yes, so
Huh, all right.
that is the area that's getting done.
I hope that they're, the
Yeah.
15% of the population does not
Yeah.
get affected by poison ivy.
Any other questions? You're asking great questions, please.
But it just, is there anyone we can call about National Grid? Anybody know a guy? Is there like
Or
a?
gal?
So, yeah, so there's.
I mean, can we apply
there's
pressure
gonna be
through
some
our elected
conversations.
representatives? That
Yes,
probably
we've
doesn't help,
contacted
but like-
National Grid again today.
You got a lot of fun
We
talking.
can,
Yeah, I could-
that will be the next
I got a
step, by
new
the
friend,
way.
I can call him.
That will be the next step, is contacting our elected officials. You know, Senator Fahey, Assemblyman Romero's been very,
Mm-hmm.
very good to us. That will be the next step in the phase of making sure that we get this done. But I'm hoping that National Grid understands our pressures and is going to be able to work with us. We put in an email today to confirm that. We're hoping for a reply by tomorrow to really understand where we are. So I'm hoping we don't need to do that. And we
Okay.
can work together as a partner to be able to support and get the project done.
Chris Allard's husband's a lineman.
What's that?
Chris Allard's husband.
Oh, okay. So we have a community member work for the district as a lineman.
Somebody knows a guy.
I know,
All right.
see, somebody knows a guy, that's right. I mean, it might be worth, you know.
And Rep Tonko just sent you guys letters.
That's right, yeah.
Welcoming you,
I know.
congratulating you, so there you go, a new friend.
Other questions on this? So that really is where we are, and,
Okay.
you know, it's a lot of work, and it's going forward, and there'll be changes constantly occurring, but we're moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, that's all I have.
All right, with that, let's move into the approval of minutes, 4.1. Anyone have any questions about the minutes from June? I don't have them attached in mine, but, perhaps it's just me. Okay, but anyone thoughts about the minutes from June? Or
You're fine.
Except, I looked over the written version, they looked fine. to me. So, move them,
Can I make a motion? Approve the minutes?
yeah, second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Margie, you good? Okay, you're very quiet right now, but, all right, we have treasurer reports and claim auditor reports, we can take those two things together if you're okay with that. Any thoughts or questions about either? No? Okay. Anyone like to move that?
I'll move it.
Second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead. Barbara.
Okay, deferred to Barbara. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, with that, we move to personnel. we have a number of appointments and, which includes, driving instructor. 2 driving instructors. So any questions or thoughts? Or want to move it?
With the, with Jenny Auger, that doesn't, she'll still be doing as well, even though
It's just
she's
a part
changed
of her
her
position.
position.
Yep.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
think it was rolled in.
Yes, it's been rolled into
Do
it,
it,
so.
that's what I
yeah,
thought.
it
I just
becomes
wanted to make sure.
In-house position instead of a stipend.
Okay.
And I believe that Brian Stumbaugh gets the Most Renaissance Man Award for doing English, football, and Dungeons and Dragons. So, anyone like to move that
I'll move it.
section? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Rachel, may I make a comment before?
Absolutely.
Rachel mentioned driver's ed instructor. I do want to state something that I forgot to mention, and I think it's very important. We've been working with Albany County, the Albany County superintendents, regarding driver's ed and bus patrol money that's coming in and out of it. We got a notification late last week that Albany County is going to provide each district 2 trainers. So any teacher who wants to be trained to be a driver's ed instructor per district, we will do 2 teachers and reimburse the district the cost of the hotel, the housing, and all training for that employee. So that way we can, across the county, get more trainers. So I thought that was, I forgot to mention that, I think it's very important. So the trainers that we currently have are very, very good. They are not district employees, they are from other districts. This could be something where we build our own in-house employees as well, and the county will help support that.
great.
So just wanted to share that quickly.
But they would be teachers or staff or just teachers?
It has to be teachers.
Teachers, okay.
It makes sense to me.
Wow, so you want to try some. Bless their heart. Okay, so we have some revisions to the district calendar. Frank,
CSE
do you want to?
recommendations.
What?
Right.
Oh, CSE recommendations, thank you. Good. Anyone like to discuss or move? Anyone want to move them?
I'll move them.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep. Calendar changes, Frank?
Can you put that back up? I can stare at it for a
Frank,
second.
good, like.
Awesome, all right. So we've made some calendar recommendation changes, working with the staff because of the fact that the unknown of the elementary school, right? We are not really truly sure how the elementary, thank you so much for that, is going to work. So high school and middle school is going to stay exactly as it was. Superintendent's conference days, professional development days on the 2nd and 3rd, same with the elementary school. The start date for middle school and high school will be September 4th. That is the date, nothing changes, the schedule for them goes on as it was. The elementary school, on the other hand, we're going to front load the superintendent's conference day. So we're going to put another superintendent's conference day on the 4th. Because of the fact that we're probably not going to be able to get them in until probably August 30th or September 2nd. So the building's really going to need a lot of work. The teachers are going to need time to be able to get that rooms done and be able to focus. So September 4th is going to be a superintendent's conference day for them. And then the school will start on the 5th for elementary school. Where the shift is going to be happening is, could we go to November? So on November, we had the superintendent's conference day was supposed to be November 10th for everybody, grades K through 12. That superintendent's conference day for elementary school is now front-loaded to September. What Mr. Vivenzio and the elementary school staff suggested to me was, and they wanted to do this anyways, is they wanted to take the parent conference day that they had off, that they were going to have off for all kids K-5, and put it on now November 10th. This will give them time to give the report cards to the parents prior to them getting it, to give an opportunity for them to preset, talk about it, have an opportunity instead of talking about it afterwards. And it will still allow for us to be able to have that superintendent's conference day and not impact any of the 182-day calendar or 181-day calendar that we have. So really it is the least invasive way to make sure that we get teachers time and the staff time to really prepare for the building and opening of school. So that's the change currently. There could be possible changes or emergency issues that come up that we have to, be flexible and understanding, but right now this is the best opportunity.
So that time is for classroom?
September
It's not-
4th, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we've already decided that there's mandated trainings that elementary school has to do. You have to do some mandated trainings. They have to do it. There's certain things that have to be done. But we also know the fact that we cannot be asking our staff to do a ton of PD in the front load of the year if their rooms are a mess and the building's a mess, right? So we have to make sure that we're giving time. So the admin team is being very flexible in the planning and structures of what we have to get done and how much time we can allocate.
Because some of that PD can be done online, right? Like the
It can be, but we
harassment
still, but
events.
the Teachers Association still asks us to give time during the school day for it to
For
be
that.
done.
Right.
They don't expect it to be done after
Right.
school, so we still have to
Understand that.
allocate
Yep.
some of that time.
Yep.
But the beauty part of it is, if a staff member chooses to do it outside of hours, then they can still get that done and then have that time. But yes, you're correct.
All
A
right.
lot of our mandate training is during,
Yeah.
online and can be done at your own convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions on the calendar?
Did you say the 10th becomes the
Yes.
conference day?
November.
Yeah.
For
10th, okay.
elementary school.
November.
For elementaries.
Yep, got it.
So elementary school
Because
has a
Veterans Day is the
3.5
11th.
4.5 day weekend there because they have a half day on, for the preceding Friday. And then they'll have off on Tuesday. So I'm wondering how many parents are going to come to parent-teacher conferences there.
I'm sure we'll have a lot of parents come to parent-teacher conference. We always have a big
There's
turnout.
a big turnout
Yeah.
usually.
And also they can do virtual, so that does help
That's,
as well.
that's pretty fantastic.
And they'll be able to schedule it through Parent Square, hopefully.
Woo, Parent Square. Any,
Objections on that?
any more questions about the calendar or anyone like to move it?
I'll move it.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a request to go to Salem, Massachusetts, an out-of-town field trip, something that used to be done but hasn't been done in a while. Bringing it back.
Cool.
Burning people.
Which
Anyone,
class is it?
questions?
What
Is this, I
Oh,
think it's the
AP.
block. Yeah,
Huh?
it's for the block.
Yeah, APUS and right?
Yeah,
Rents
A
and
push.
stuff, right?
AP, oh, AP, is that AP US History and AP Literature?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's open to people who are not taking it as a block, but, and it will still be a block if we don't have Mr. Glad. Huh.
It's a block, it's been a block. list.
Okay, but there are students who could take both classes separately, because I think, right, the schedule allows you to take a push and.
Yeah, I do
right.
not know that answer, I'd have to
So
find out.
that would be a question I would wonder is, do you have to be at the block or can you take them if you're in either class or you have to be in both? Or?
I think it's for AP Lit and AP US History, so if you're taking those two courses, no matter the block or not, I believe it's either of those classes you're able
Okay.
to go. Those teachers teach both of those classes,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't see it being disseminated differently. It's not the way that I saw the proposal. I'm looking at Jessica because I know she read it as well. But I do believe it's all of those students have taken, but I can confirm it.
Okay. Would anyone like to ask any more questions or discuss or move?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Exciting bidding in 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, and 5.10, and then a declaration of obsolete items in
VHS
5.11.
tapes.
Tire balancer, a tire changing
Art-themed
machine.
VHS tapes.
Okay, who
All right.
who has a niece, nephew, or someone they'd like to give a drum and stand to? Would anyone like to discuss 5.7 through 5.11? Can we do them, move them as a consent agenda? And if anyone has any questions, ask them. Or if you want to just move it, move it. If someone has questions. Second? Yeah? Kathy, did you just second?
Second, I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so, did you already change it? You did. Okay, on the electronic version of the agenda, the committees have already been changed. So the committees going forward, RG, thank you, y'all be chairing the audit committee going forward, which is made up of a committee of the board. Curriculum, Robin, y'all continue to chair. Kathy, y'all join the curriculum committee, and Matt, y'all keep going on there. And then Matt, y'all move to chair the policy committee, which will stick around with Barbara and RG. So the BAM team, and Frank, BAMP. And facilities, Robin, Robin,
Close
and
enough.
Barbara. Brr. And, you guys will be the Toros. So, awesome, thank you. But I don't think the audit committee has met, but curriculum has not met. Policy did meet,
We did.
and facilities did not.
No.
So policy, RG, do you want to discuss what, as we go into the policies that are on the agenda?
Yeah, why don't I do that? We did meet in June, and we have 3 policies that are up for adoption today. One
What's
is
the
the
read?
first read, I believe.
Yeah. One's the first reading. Yes, the heat one is the first read. So we'll just, y'all report on that discussion as we go through it, right? Yeah, okay. So with that, we have a very generous donation from the PTA for the Cole Summer Writers Institute, if anyone would like to discuss or move.
I'd like to thank them for that, very
Yeah,
generous.
well, I want to
Yeah.
accept it first.
Yep, yeah. I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
You want to thank them?
Yeah, I think it's great.
All right, thank you to the PTA, it's awesome, the opportunities provided. So then, I guess we could have done this at the same time, addressing the new funds that have been generously provided by the PTA. We need to move them into the right spot. Would anyone like to discuss that, or just move it?
I'll move it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Okay, so we have a fund balance contribution to round out the capital reserve. Any conversations or discussions? Anyone want to move it?
I'll move it.
Crickets. All in favor?
We need a second.
Aye.
Second, who's
I'll se-
seconding?
I'll second it.
Second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Just, guys are so, oh my gosh. RJ, I need you here. All right, Mr. McCready, we're gonna propose an addendum to your contract. Anyone want to discuss it? Do we want to say thank you once we voted on it or before we vote on it?
However you'd like.
Thank you.
I'll say thank you and I'll move it.
Excellent, thanks. Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Woo! Thank you
you
very
very
much. Okay, let's create a new position.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's call it the Director of School Finance and Operations. That's really rolls off the tongue. Anyone want to discuss this?
No, glad it all worked out.
All right. Second, move it?
I'll move it.
Okay, second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Hey, let's hire someone for that position. How about Colleen DiCaprio? Any, we're excited that you're here to be part of this. There's an owl between us. So would anyone like to discuss or move?
I'd like to move it.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent, congratulations. Woo. Lisa, thank you so much. You're gonna be here for a while longer.
Lisa's just excited because she gets to be here for my birthday. That was the one goal.
That was her goal.
She's not looking at you.
Yeah, that was on her list, top of it.
Yeah. Can't wait. Yeah, black balloons everywhere, 50 everywhere.
I didn't see the
Being
number.
recorded, right? Okay.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
September 7th.
Nice. Things you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're with 3 buddies.
Say that old. Okay, say it loudly. Well, congratulations, and enjoy the time until then, and then the time after that. School medical director O'Leary, not related to you, right, Argy?
Yep, no relation.
Okay, just stating for the record. Anyone like to move this or discuss it? Either one?
I'll move it.
All right, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. With that, we're moving to the first policy. Note that if this policy is approved completely unanimously, then we can we'll be foregoing a first read, and we'll just do it all in one swoop. So, Archie, would you like to discuss?
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. So this is the policy on students and electronic devices, which includes cell phones, tablets, AirPods, beepers, anything that a student could use to communicate outside of school while they're in school. Our policy ends at the end of the school day. And this, I'll open it up to Matt and Barbara too, in case there's anything they want to add, but our plan was to adopt this as an emergency policy, because it does need to go into effect, I believe, July 1.
August 1.
Is that right?
August
Yeah,
1.
it goes in August 1.
Oh, August 1, okay, all right. So yeah, so since we don't have time to do a second read, we're proposing this as an emergency adoption so that we can get it in place and comply with the law by August 1. And Matt, Barbara, anything to add on this, or Frank?
Yeah, I just want to state that, just to clarify, it's electronic devices, cell phones, tablets, items like that. AirPods are allowed, so that way, like Bluetooth connected devices that can hook up to like the Chromebook is allowable. But anything otherwise than that is not allowable in that wise. And we've done, I believe, we've looked at the basic idea of what the law stated. We did not add anything else to it as a board and as the school district. It really is in the locker, out during the school day, progressive discipline when it comes to it. Students, you know, they were going to be told that they can't have them in school, and there's no warnings. It really is, you're told you can't have them, they're notified 1,000 different ways. If a student has it out, say Frank McCree, it has his cell phone out in class, Frank McCree is going to be directed to bring it to the office. Like there's no questions on there where it is. That was the big conversation I think we had about just how it's going to be enforced. And we wanted to make sure that it didn't take away from the instructional time and allowed for some very clear expectations. But other than that, we really are following pretty much the letter of the regulation of the law.
And were students made aware that this was coming? I mean,
Oh,
I know we're
everybody's-
complying with the law, but
Let's
you-
ask the students who are here. Are
Okay.
you well aware that this is coming?
Okay.
And you also were given a survey by the administration about what you needed in order to be successful without the tool, correct?
Good.
You want to add any input on this? Sorry, do you mind?
No?
I mean, we probably have more input like after the first few days of school.
People are going to be mad, but I think it's the right choice, so.
Well, it's legally the only choice.
I think the
law
one thing
now.
that we said as a policy committee is grades 4 through 8 aren't really going to have an issue with this. Maybe 9 or 10 might struggle with it. We really do know grades 11 and 12 are really going to struggle because grades 11 and 12 have used this for so long, right? It's been part of it. So we do understand that, and I think that was one of the bigger conversations we had.
So, is there going to be any, or how, well, I'm sure there's going to be something, but I'm just curious as to when parents or family members or whoever's contacting students, there's going to be paths to do that. That's a legal requirement. Is that going to require, how much time is that going to require is not something you can know now, but I'm curious about the amount of time and energy that might take of someone's day to collect messages and get them to the students in question.
I really don't think it's going to be too much, but we won't know until it happens.
That'll be interesting.
I think it's, again, there's going to be a learning curve a little
Yeah.
bit,
Well,
you know, as people
yeah.
adapt to this is the way it is.
I think the important point is K through 5 have done this already. And, you know, they have 575 students at the elementary school with those parents and guardians, and they communicate very clearly to the office without going through the students. So that model is probably just going to have to kind of carry over to grade 6 through 12. So we already have the model working, it's just now transitioning it to a different level of a building.
Do we have the, I know we have the ability to, but I mean, like policy-wise or whatever. So our student emails are locked down to external
Correct.
emails. Do you have the ability to, for example, whitelist parent emails so they could shoot a note? Do you
I have
this,
asked that
right?
question to NARIC, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. Because there might be some safety regards and spam.
Yeah, I mean, like,
issues.
technology-wise, yeah, I'm sure it's a yes, but it's, yeah, from a policy and like, do we do that? Is it okay to do that?
Yeah, I do
guess
not know
is,
that answer, I'd have to ask.
I know a follow-up question on, I know activity trackers are allowed. I guess, up to see how implementation goes in terms of recognizing what an activity tracker is versus a smartwatch,
Yep.
or when it becomes one. I think I know the answer to this, but Apple has a feature for the Apple Watches called School Time that you can force to enable, but that doesn't, for us, stop it from being, even though it,
Yeah, the
Is that correct?
admin have already had this conversation, hence the recommendation that we asked for smartwatches.
Yeah.
The answer is gonna be that's too hard to enforce.
because then.
Yeah, 'cause it-
Yeah, but so then how do we make a determination, activity tracker versus smartwatch
Mm-hmm.
for, yeah.
I think that's gonna be one of the bigger issues that we're gonna tackle at our admin retreat, and really start to kind of understand how they're gonna implement some of these expectations, and where some of the pros and cons of this are going to be.
Yeah, because I mean, per the policy, activity trackers are still fine, heart rate and activity
What is
trackers.
an activity tracker, and how do you know what it is or not, and how do you?
Right, well, I guess, yeah, how do the hall monitors or whoever
Because this
is
is
looking for
both,
these things
right?
know,
It's an
right? Yeah.
activity tracker,
Yeah,
but it's a
this
phone,
is
so-
both. My
right.
kids all have these because they're, you know, for heart rate data and for activity tracker stuff and various other things like that. Now I'll have to buy some new devices.
There is a.
I want to make sure that whatever I buy is acceptable. I
There is a
suppose, as
program
well.
that is coming out that school districts can look into that will shut down school time for students who are on Wi-Fi enabled devices. So if you're hooked up to the Wi-Fi, a school district can actually shoot out to a student saying, hey, we saw that you haven't enabled your school time yet, you need to do so. But if you're on cellular data, it negates that, so it doesn't really work. But if you only have Wi-Fi and no cellular data, there are programs that they're now defining and starting to build that school districts can look at. It's at the infancy stage, so
Yeah.
I think it will grow, but those are not at the point where we could use them yet.
And when we send like the beginning of school letters to families.
Oh, this will be
This'll
all,
okay.
we're gonna plaster this everywhere. Come August and come after late July, you're gonna start seeing this on the website, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're gonna have little memes coming, you name it, it's gonna be there, because we wanna make sure that everybody is well aware, which they are anyways. But I think,
But the law passed a few months ago, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
people
No,
have
it's gonna be
amnesia
great.
over the summer.
I'm pretty sure all the kids are very well aware that
Oh,
this is
I
coming
know the
up.
kids
For sure.
are.
And then and maybe these answers aren't there yet, I think I asked the same thing last time, like from an enforcement, there are, and it's listed in here, right, like medical exemptions, like if you have a continuous glucose monitor or something, maybe it's linked with your Apple Watch and you're wearing an Apple Watch, but then how do you tell? You just over time get to know that that's one of the kids that
No, they
has an
have
exception?
they have to have approval. It has to-
No, I know they have to have approval,
But-
but I
but
mean,
the
but that
people
doesn't
know.
help the hall monitor who's
Hall monitor.
enforcing.
There's gonna be a confidential list that goes out with students who are able to have the device. So let's say Frank McCree's allowed to wear his backpack, but no one else is. There will be an email out to individual staff saying.
So we have stuff like
this-
that already
yes,
where
we do.
there's
Yep.
exceptions for
Yep.
folks?
So people are well aware, so they're not confronting a student saying, why are you doing this? It's well aware that they're allowed to do it.
Yeah, because I have a glucose monitor right now, it's a little thing.
Yeah.
But they're phasing those out, so now my new one, I'm gonna pick up this week, only goes through my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're like this
Mhm.
big, you put them in your pocket.
Yeah, but we have systems in place with notification for staff members, so we don't kind of basically attack a child and have somebody always asking them where it is, because nobody wants to go through a day like that. So we have systems in place already for that.
And do we have a list of pre-approved medical conditions for which these things get approved, or it's a total case-by-case basis?
It's gonna be a
right? So-
case-by-case basis, because we want to see what that, I think what's gonna happen is,
There's a truncated list.
there is a
For
truncated
medical
list,
conditions?
but I have a feeling that you're gonna see this shift over time. So,
And it's probably, I mean, we're not that big, like it seems like that. would
No,
be-
no, I'm just, yeah, I'm more
Right.
curious, there's
That
I
people
can think of
know.
lots of reasons why people might use, not phones necessarily, but certainly Apple
Devices.
Watches for,
and it will
you know,
go through our
everything
medical
from
director and administration.
cycle
and for
tracking
approval.
to, like heart issues or, so like, what of those would be covered and what of them wouldn't?
Yep.
And will anything be sent out to parents, letting them know what of those things may be acceptable or not?
The policy's gonna be sent out, and we're gonna be clarifying what
But
policy.
where's the list in the box? I didn't.
It just
catch
says medical exemptions.
Correct, yeah, so like, but
It's
what
in-
is?
It's in the.
It's a parent data, it's top of page 2, it kind of gives some parent data called
Oh,
examples.
no, yeah, diabetes,
Diabetes,
asthma,
yeah.
medication, et cetera.
Or
But
translation,
like,
yeah.
If the parent feels that they're gonna need an ability to be able to have an exemption, they're going to go to their physician. Their physician's gonna say yes or no, this does fit the need of
Right.
it. And then the physician's gonna write a note
to the
to the school
medical
district.
director.
Then the school district administration and medical director are gonna evaluate that based on specific needs, and then they're gonna make.
So
that final
case by case
Yep.
basis is the
Correct.
answer as opposed to
Right.
we don't really have a
Correct.
prescribed
Right.
line or barrier.
Nor have I seen any yet from any other school district or attorney or any council.
Yeah.
If that comes out in the next month, absolutely we'll be using it, but again, this is such an infancy stage in some of these things that we're gonna kind of go with it as we go. But that's why right now we're doing the case by case with the parenthetical that's been given.
I
Good.
think those are all my questions.
Any other questions?
Good questions, though.
Do you guys have any,
No,
do
thanks for the clarification on the AirPods, Frank.
Yeah,
you guys have any questions?
that was just a big sticking point for admin.
Yep.
All right, RG, you good with this?
Yeah, I'm good. I will move it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed unanimously. We have now adopted it.
All right. So the next one, 7.9, is a policy 4321.10. This is a new policy, so it's up for our first read. And this is a NISBA recommended policy to complete our section on policies concerning students with disabilities. And this one has to do with students who are parentally placed in non-public schools. Any other comments or questions from anyone?
No, none for me. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyone else?
All right. Yeah, so this is a
There's
first
not.
read, and if anyone does have feedback, we can look at it again in policy before it comes up for a second read. And then the next one is 7.10, which is the extreme heat condition days policy. This is 8113.
Which is,
This is another required policy. I think for the most part, we are in compliance with the requirements of this policy. Frank, I'll let you add any other commentary on that. But this is required to be adopted before the start of school, so we should be in good shape to do a second read in August.
The school district, prior to my arrival, has already had a heat index policy for the elementary school. We then took that over for the middle school and high school and started tracking the heat numbers in the school district. I believe it was 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago, we started with the same procedures in the middle school and high school prior to this becoming a regulation. So I feel like we've already kind of been on the forefront of doing this. The district's been doing it for a very long time at the elementary school. It became a K-12 initiative. So this really just kind of solidifies the work that we've been doing already.
and there's no action to be taken. Thank you to the policy committee. RG, thank you for chairing the policy committee for years and for continuing to be part of it and for moving to audit. With that, we move to item 8.1. This is an opportunity for the public to be heard. If anyone would like to come forward, it's a second opportunity. All right, we're not going to wait. A second opportunity for the board to be heard. Happy summer. Anyone have anything to add? Dates to remember, on the 17th of July, there's an admin retreat. The 4 board members will be joining the admin for a portion of that to discuss code of conduct, I believe. And so just want to put that out there. But otherwise, our next board meeting is on the 4th, right here, 7 p.m. You guys are welcome. You can't be here because you're having fun doing something else. Hardly enjoy that too. On the 15th, not the 13th, there's a Board of Education retreat in August, probably from 10 to 3.
It's the 15th.
Yes, 15th, not 13th. Sorry. With that, we move to item 10.1. If anyone would like to discuss this or just move it.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second?
That was Matt, right?
Was that a yes?
It was Matt.
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Matt, thank you for the catch.
Hi, RG, thank you.
Bye, RG. Safe travels.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Hey, guys, if you want to put your cards in this folder. Sure. Thanks for, thanks for voting for me and Rob again. So sure. Everyone's like, yeah, I don't want to do it.
We'll go over
I
all the board
did not
protocol.
make it
So like if you can do like,
Yes.
you don't do
August
voting,
15th.
so that will be one thing,
Is it-
but I'll go over,
because
it.
it
We'll spend
has
time to be able to really kind of go through all your questions. so-
Subscribing
We'll
officer
give
is
you
Jess. I thought she did.
a little time to enjoy yourself. and we'll-
Did you want us to put the date?
Is there a
or does
reason why
Jess
we're
put
doing
the date?
10?
Okay, that's Rachel, that could be happening. Okay, what?
Is there a